Hello, guitarist Miles Okazaki here. This is a video for a book that I wrote called Fundamentals of Guitar. I'm going through and I'm making some videos of things that I thought could be explained a little in more detail and with a demonstration. So this is a section, I'm looking at page 59, Fundamentals of Guitar, Mel Bay. This is called the Triad. Seems like should be a simple topic, but it's actually pretty deep. So it takes up quite a large section of the book, so I thought I should make a video for this. And also it has a special kind of notation. So I'll get in a little closer here. Alright, so the first thing I should explain is this word triad, how it's being used in this context of this video and this book. Triad is meaning any three pitches that are different from each other. So while C, E, G, C, E flat, G, C, E flat, G flat, C, E, A flat, those are all triads that we commonly deal with, major, minor, diminished, and augmented. Those are just four of any number of triads, like C, D, E could be a triad in the way it's being used here, which just means three pitches, any three pitches, okay? Because the real question that I wanted to look at here is how many ways are there to play any three pitches on the guitar, and so that's what I think this pretty much lays it out if I did it correctly. So, which turns out to be like 850 something, but it's more like a dictionary. Like you don't have to obviously go through all these. It's to explore. It's to explore and look at different sounds. So, three pitches. The question is, how many shapes can three pitches make? Like for example, C, E, G is one shape. D, F sharp, A is different pitches, but it's the same shape. They're both, in this case, they're both major triads, right? But those two have the same shape, so those are like grouped together. So those, because on the guitar we don't worry so much about, the shape doesn't change. The shape that we play doesn't change under transposition if you're using the same string set, okay? So so everything that has that shape of like a major third, a minor third, and a perfect fifth is a major triad, or a minor triad if the intervals are reversed. So, but I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with that because I want to get on to the next thing. So, if you're interested in why, that's on page 59. There's a whole explanation of why I come up with 19 different sounds to deal with in this section. And then following that are 19 pages. One page for each triad. First one, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2 meaning C, and if it's in C, C, D flat, D. It would be C, D flat, D. Now 0, 1, 2 is just kind of like a number notation because that's transposable, right? Because if he says 0 is C, then it's C, D flat, D. But if he says 0 is G, then it would be G, G sharp, A, or G, A flat, A. And if 0 was A, then it's A, B flat, B, etc. So I wrote different ways of putting. I wrote one example here. If C is 0, I wrote what that is. But then you have to extrapolate and imagine that C is all the other. That 0 could be any of the other pitches. Then the shape is here, which you can see is this is a circle, chromatic circle. 0, 1, 2. 0 is colored white, 1 is colored gray, and 2 is colored black. And all of these, it's the same, so that you can correspond the shape to what's going on with the fretboard diagrams. Now, I'm going to go to a more familiar triad. Let's see. Here we go. Page 78 is 0, 3, 7. And if C is 0, then we have C, E flat, G. And the common name, if there is a common name, I wrote it there, and the common name is minor triad, right? And here's the shape of it, 0, 3, 7. And this is the shape, is a transposable shape, right? So I wanted to get the minimum of notation here. If I wanted to write out minor triad, just the shape of minor triad, and on a staff, what are all the versions of it? Well, you'd have to write out all transpositions. So C, E flat, G, C sharp, E, G sharp, D, F, A, etc. And go through all the transpositions and then all the inversions, right? E flat, G, C, E flat, C, G, and all this. There'd be tons of notation, and then no help for figuring out the fingerings on the guitar. So I just went straight to the fingerings, straight to the formations that you use on the fretboard. Okay, now let's say that we have this one sound, 0, 4, 7. The question is, I'm sorry, 0, 3, 7. 0, 4, 7 is on the next page. That's a major triad. So 0, 3, 7. The question is, well, okay, let's look at this one sound and see how many ways you can play it. Now, is there a systematic way? Well, yeah, there is. You have to put a couple limitations on it. So here's a couple limitations I'm putting. No open strings. Because this is dealing with just fingerings that you can move and transpose. And if you have open strings, you can't transpose it, obviously. So, nothing against open strings. They're great. But in this case, I can't list all those possibilities. It's too many. So that cuts down a little bit. And then, secondly, or it's not appropriate for this notation because the notation should be transposable. And if I put open strings, it wouldn't be transposable. So no open strings. And then also in terms of fingerings like voicings, any voicing that's larger than 5 frets I don't put in there because I'm just keeping it practical. Now it's not that more than 5 frets is not a practical span to get. I mean, it's certainly possible and happens all the time, but I just want to put the most practical, easy to grab types of voicings. So, okay, those are the 2 rules. Now, let's continue. How do we go through all of them? Well, we can do it with figuring out string sets. Now, if we're playing triads, you have to have 3 notes. And I'm saying, let's do 3 notes on 3 different strings. I guess this is like another rule. So you have to have the 3 notes on 3 different strings. So you can play like a chord. Okay? So this isn't necessarily melodic study. This is more of a chordal thing, but you could use it melodically, obviously. So string sets, well, if there's 3 strings next to each other, like, let's number the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is the highest, 6 is the lowest. Okay, so now, well, you have, a good place to start would be 3 strings next to each other. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, can we play these notes, C, E flat, G on these? Yes, we can. Right here, okay? So, now, the next 3 strings, we could take that same configuration. There are 3 strings that are all next to each other, but then move it down to the next set. So 2, 3, 4, right? And where would that be? Here, right? I'll get a little closer. So 2, 3, 4. Now, if we want to say 3, 4, 5, it's going to be here, right? Right? And if we want to say 4, 5, 6, then you're for this voicing, there's 4 different ways to play it, and they have different qualities, you know. And so now we move on. Okay, different string set. Well, that's all the string sets we could do that have 3 strings next to each other. Now we can do a span of 4 strings, which means there's going to be a gap somewhere in the middle. So let's do 1, 2, 4, right? That's these those 3 strings. Okay, so the 1, 2, 4 string set. Where is this C minor going to be on there? Here. Okay. And then, well, we can move it down. So instead of 1, 2, 4, it's 2, 3, 5, right? Right. And then it could be 3, 4, 6. Okay. Now notice that all these voicings I'm doing so far have C in the bass. This is very important because I'm going to go through the inversions. These all have C in the bass. They're what you might call rooted position, but root position is kind of misleading when you get into more of those strange triads like C, D flat D, that one that we started on. That one you say, well, what's the root really of that? It might be hard to say, so or debatable. So in this case, we'll just call it the first pitch and the second pitch and the third pitch, and you can see in the book that they're color coded. It's like on the diagram you see that this white, gray, and black are the 3 pitches, and then on the chord symbols themselves they're white, gray, and black. So it makes it a little easier to figure that out. If I'm always looking for, if I say C is the white one, then I can always figure it out from that. Okay, so I was here. Okay, we did 1, 2, 1, 2, 4 type of shape. It's 2 adjacent strings, a gap, and then another string. Now we do a string, a gap, and 2 adjacent strings. So we're still doing a 4-fret span, but it is the gap is in the top. Right? We have this one and this one. This is 2, 4, 5, and then 3, 5, 6. Okay? These are still pretty conventional voicings we've seen. Now, let's go to larger span of strings, 5 strings. So 1, 2, 5, which can also the same formation can be here. 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, 6. Okay, I'm just moving them down, and then the next formation is going to be a gap, like a string, gap, string, gap, string. So 1, 3, 5, right? That would be. This one's a little weirder. Up here, right? Okay, and then you can do that here also. There's a 5. It's a little harder to grab, but it's a 5-fret span, so it's not bad. Okay, then you have the next one is going to be string, gap, gap, string, string. All right, so 1, 4, 5. And then if we move that down, 2, 5, 6. Right? Okay, that's all of them with a 5-string span. Then the last one, 6-string span, using the span of the whole lateral width of the neck. So 6 strings, well, with a C in the bass. Okay, so that means, well, we have to. This is a 1, 2, 6, right? And 1, 3, 6. 1, 4, 6. Okay, now 1, 4, 6. Where you would see 1, 4, 6 in this pattern, there's a hole in my diagram here. There's a space. Why is there a space? Because if you think about it, let's say you have C in the bass on the 6th string. What can you put on the top on 1? Well, you can't put G. It's too far away. I mean, I can't really reach it, you know. So it has to be E flat. That means the G goes on the other string. Whatever that other string is, the G has to be on it. It's no problem. 1, 2, 6 is no problem. 1, 3, 6 is a little weirder, but still is okay. 1, 4, 6. Now we have a problem. How do you get the G? You have to come down here. This is a 7-fret voicing. So not really practical. Much better is this. 4 frets, same notes. Right? So, this one is out. There's a hole. There's a hole in the page. I mean, not in the page, but there's an empty space in the page. And then this one is on. 1, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the first section. You see we got 1/3 of the way down this page. We did this whole section right here. Now, what about these? What are these things? Well, if you look at it, you know, maybe not on the video, but if you get the book and you look at it, you can see that the next section is like the next inversion. So those all had the first pitch in the bottom. Now these all have the second pitch in the bottom. In this triad, the second pitch is an E flat. Okay, so these are all going to have E flat in the bottom, and it's going to go through the exact same string set. So since it's the same string set, I'm just going to move through them a little faster. But these all have E flat in the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 6. Right? Those are all adjacent strings. Now, 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 5. 3, 4, 6. This is sort of like the thing I was doing in the beginning. It's interesting to stop and I'm playing the exact same notes. It's like going from dark to light. I think in the beginning I was in a different key. I was in E flat minor. This is C minor. But it doesn't make any difference. It's the same voicings, the same formations of the hand. It's good to see how fast you can go. Without missing notes. But also to listen to the timbre of it, how it gets light up here, brighter. From darker sound to a brighter sound. And from a brighter sound to a darker sound. On most guitars, I mean, you know, it's going to be the case because the lower strings are thicker. So you get a different timbre. These are choices, you know, that you can have. Maybe I don't like this. Maybe I'm in a situation where I want a brighter sound. I want to cut through. And maybe I want to be more like a pad, you know, somewhere in the middle. Okay. So anyway, that's. Sorry, I said I was going to go faster. I ended up going slower. But so anyway, I was here. This is a 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6. Now the other voicing that has a 4-string span. 1, 3, 4. Instead of 1, 2, 4, now we're going 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, and then here 2, 4, 5. Right? This one's a little harder to get up here. Not the most common way to play that. Obviously much more common would be this. Same notes. But it's still interesting to see. Never would have thought to play it like that. Okay. So now 5-string span. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. 2, 3, 6. Okay. 5-string span with the string space, string space, string configuration. Right? This is the same as this. Same notes. But see, the top note is brighter. Darker here. Okay? So here we are. And we can do the same thing here. Even darker. Right? Then we have this. Right? Because this is still a 5-string span, but now the spaces are both in the top. String, space, space, string, string. 1, 4, 5. Right? Or here. This is 2, 5, 6. Okay, then this. this. And anyway, the same problem. Can't get to the G on this string. So the next one is here. There's another space in the listing. Okay, that's it. Did it all the way up to 6 strings. Now the last one is the third note is in the bass, and in this case that note is G, which means there's going to be a C and an E flat somewhere above that G. It doesn't matter the order of those two; they could change. There's usually only one way to do it. So, and I should say that sometimes I did make a choice. Like sometimes there was a couple ways to do it, and I picked the one that to me felt more natural. So there technically are some voicings here that are not listed, but they are identical on the same string set to another voicing, and they have the same fret span or something like that. I picked the one that feels better, basically. Okay, so here, consecutive strings with a fifth in the bass. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 1, 2, 4. It's a little hard. Okay. 5 fret voicing. Where are we at? Yeah. Now this one. Now if you say if we take the same voicing and we bring it down, this is C, E flat, and G coming, or I should say G from the bottom, E flat, C. Now if I take that here, G, E flat, C, you can see it's too big, too wide, 6 frets. Same as this, same voicing, but this is too big to be listed, so I took it out. But then you can get it here, in 5 frets. Plus it's higher up on the neck, easier to get, and darker. This is a much different sound than this. Okay, so that's that, and then let's see, where are we? Right. Then you have 1, 3, 4. It's actually the same notes again. Just a different configuration of the fingers. Down here. This sounds like it wants to go. Something like that. 5-string span is going to be like, right, 1, 2, 5, and then this 2, 4, 2, 3, 6, and then the string space, string is here and here or here. Now I'm treating this as the exact same as this, because they're just octave, okay? And then 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5 is going to be like, that would be here. Here or here or here, right? 2, 5, 6. And the last one are the ones that take 6 strings, which is going to be like, pretty unusual one. Now you can see the E flat, we're going to have to skip a couple of them here because this C has to be in the middle, and the E, because the C can't be on top if I have a G in the bottom. It's too far of a stretch. So I have G on the bottom, E flat on the top. I gotta get a C in the middle. Well, I could get here. That's very bad. A 7 fret thing, and it's really awkward. And the other C would be like, well, so that doesn't work. You can't get it at all on that string. If you try and get it on the 4th string, then it's down here. That's even worse. I can't even do that. So then you get on the 5th string. And that's it. Okay, so that's it. How many were there? There were 56. 56 ways to play 55. I counted them, and I can't read my handwriting. is 55 ways to play a minor triad on the guitar without open strings within 5 frets. And that may seem like kind of overkill, but I think it's an interesting meditation to sit with just one of these pages and look at one sound and turn it around to all these different angles and see what you might discover, even with something that's really familiar, like a minor triad. I mean, most people might know a few voicings for a minor triad, and they kind of just stay with those. I mean, 55 voicings, that's quite a bit. And then going into some of these other sounds that are more unusual, you know, that are not our conventional triads, you'll get into some very strange territory. So that's about it for this video. And what I was playing in the beginning, that's a progression through all 19 triads. It's on page 80 something, 84. Looks like this, a little diagram. And that's just a kind of a little exercise to hear one way to move through all the triads just by moving a little bit, by kind of mutating. These are all symmetrical. 0, 1, 2, 0, 2, 4, 0, 3, 6, 0, 4, 7. Or you could say 2 semitones, 2 whole tones, 2 minor thirds, 2 major thirds, 2 fourths or 2 fifths, you know, and so on. And then it goes through. The other side is symmetrical. You could analyze it and see that the movements are symmetrical. What I just did, there's one side and then it's the other way. So anyway, that's it. Kind of a lengthy video, but maybe that would help to explain this section that I've had some questions. People have asked me some questions about it, like how does it work and stuff like that. So I hope that this helps out with that idea of triads, which is a pretty endless concept. You can just keep working and working on it and building things out of triads and seeing what they sound like in different different angles. So again, the book Fundamentals of Guitar is available on Melbay, Amazon. Thanks for watching. Check out the website. I have some records out. Google me, you'll see some stuff. Miles Okazaki. All right.